My name is Cathy Alexopoulos. I have been the president of the Greek Australian Culture League for the past 16 years. The Culture League is an organisation that was established in 1970 by a band of very, very interested and very enthusiastic members of the community that were young, of course, then, who were interested in maintaining and promoting the Greek letters in all its form. At that moment, of course, in 1970 or prior to that, there wasn't anything in the Greek community. There may have been organisations which were of locality, on a locality basis, but there weren't any which represented people that perhaps had an interest and wanted the promotion and support of the literature and the art. So this band of visionaries, I would say, formed in 1970 a group, an association, which was called the Greek Australian Culture League of Melbourne. And what happened after that was that they continued with a lot of gusto, I'd say, and a lot of enthusiasm to try and raise funds to have some sort of a magazine, a periodical, so that they could publish some of those works that they had written. So they started creating different functions, having different events. And in 1974, they had the first publication brought out. Initially, it was thought that it'll be a small publication which will come out twice a year, and they did that, depending on their funding and the amount of money that they could raise. And of course, the material was there. There was no issue there because a lot of these people that were encompassed in this group were very notable and very well versed in the Greek letters. So as time passed, things evolved, and the League then began to hold not only book launches but a lot of seminars and talks. And subsequently after that, in 1980, they considered the idea of having a literary competition. And so that has been going on since then. Both the periodical since 1974 and the literary competition since 1980. And this have, of course, changed over the period of time. There have been different things that have happened. One of those things was that, of course, the periodical reached the size of 184 pages, which became quite a large book, one would say. It wasn't any longer a magazine. And it became bilingual over a period of time. It became a periodical that an annual periodical which all over the world now, not only just Australia. So, and of course, it comes in the form of ebook as well now through our website. With the literary competition, that has gone worldwide as well. And of course, that's all due to technology. The Culture League, in those 44, 45 years of its existence, has managed to not only survive, but to prosper. How I see the future, though, from now on, in regards to the Greek Australian Culture League, and this perhaps could be a generic statement in what I'm about to say for other organisations, I foresee that the future will need to make change. We will need to make changes, which we have already taken on board already. In our case of talking of the Culture League, a vision statement from this organisation will need to be made. We haven't done that, but although we are steering towards that direction without having written down a statement, but we are taking in consideration these many aspects of the future, changes that will need to be made in order to become more adaptable and inclusive of the new generation. So the new generation, talking of second and third, we already have on board in our committee second-generation members. So the administrative committee, as well as our membership base, has already got quite a substantial number of second generation. Third generation, we do have a few, yes, but we're still on the lookout for more of those. So we're slowly increasing our base, and our membership becomes broader by including the second and third generation, whether they'd be interested in literature or the arts or anything of that nature. We have, in all of these changes that we have been doing, one of the things is that we have been currently holding an art exhibition, and we have had one for 4 years so far. This art exhibition is reached the stage when it's for practicing artists. In other words, people that are in the arts world, they do maybe every day, maybe their livelihood comes from the arts, not a hobby only. It's not a hobby. But we haven't forgot as well the first generation. And so this year, for the first time, we're pioneering this idea of holding an art show just specifically for first generation people who may have had some sort of, a liking and have done some studies in this area, or those that perhaps just picked up a pen or a texter or a crayon and just doodled. And they've done some lovely creations which they had hidden inside them all those years and perhaps haven't had the opportunity to bring them forth. So we're having an art exhibition this year, which is of the first generation specifically, and it's on very timid steps at this moment, but we'll see how it goes, and maybe next year we might even do another one. So now, how I see the future again is that we need to make the necessary technological changes. The Culture League has taken that on board, and although we had a website in the past, at the moment we have upgraded and updated it to a new website that it makes it friendlier, it's more current, more modernized. And of course, the other thing that we need to keep in mind is to be part of the social media. And here I'm talking of Facebook or any other of the social media that's available. So we are currently doing that as well. And so we have all of these, let's say, at our hand to be able to bring forth or progress the Culture League into let's say the 21st century. One other thing that we definitely need to consider are the activities or the events that we are having that are becoming more attractive to the second and third generation. And by that I mean that whether we hold musical events, whether we have art exhibitions, or we have literary afternoons, poetry evenings, some of them, if not all, we need to consider the bilingual part of it. We have to consider that the younger generation are attracted to that, although they do want the Greek element as well as being part of it. So we need to be adaptable in that way and include that element in our organisation. The other thing I have noticed is that the venues that we hold need to be more contemporary. They need to be part of the mainstream of Australian life. They cannot be just the older style buildings that the first generation had established. So we need to make sure that wherever we are holding events, they're part of the mainstream of Australian life. We also need to entice, I would say, the newcomers from Greece. The newcomers have the language skills. They have the knowledge of the current trends that are going on in Greece and Europe. And I think in that way, they have a lot to offer to these organisations, which in some ways have reached a stalemate. They need that fresh approach. And these young people that are coming from Greece, they have a lot of knowledge, not only professional, but language skills as well, of course. If we do nothing, this is stagnation. And that means that the grass will grow under our feet, and that means that we will not be able to move 1 inch forward, and our existence will be under question. All these organisations need to really take that on board and really think hard about what do they think about the future. What do they want for the future? Thank you.